Enrique Acevedo is a Univision anchor, and he joins us tonight. Enrique, thanks for coming on. You're relentlessly promoting more immigration into the United States, often on this show. Have you thought about these questions, and what are the answers? What is the ideal number of immigrants, would you say, we should admit every year?
I don't remember promoting immigration into this country. I remember promoting a comprehensive immigration reform that fixes a broken system and that allows the U.S. to take the full benefits of immigration without the chaos and the humanitarian crisis that we're seeing at the border.
Okay, but that doesn't change my question. You say the United States benefits immeasurably from immigration, and I would agree that we've benefited from immigration for sure, but not all immigration is the same. And so my question to you is, what's the ideal number? Since you're promoting this, how many immigrants a year do you think we should take in? How big should our country get? And who's going to pay for it?
Well, it's an interesting question. Just today, the New York Times published a report that says that by 2034, two-thirds of the counties in the country are going to have a deficit in terms of the population that's economically active, in terms of the adult population that's joining the workforce. So without that population, inner cities across the country, two-thirds of the counties are going to have a lot of trouble generating, economic activity. That's going to hurt.
Unless Americans can afford to have their own children.
From 3 to 2%. So how do you keep that economic growth going?
Okay,
like
so
we have in the past.
I'm sorry, you're kind of dodging my question.
Well, it's part of fixing the problem and having immigration reform passed through Congress.
But what you're doing what everyone does, which is sort of skate along on platitudes. And please don't quote the poem at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty to me. You do this for a living, and you haven't thought a most basic question, which is how many people should we admit a year? 325 million in the country. Should we get to 500 million? Would it be a better country? And should the people we admit take part in our universal health care program that we're clearly getting? Should they?
Well, let me give you an example. Canada has a guest worker program with Mexico. It's very successful. Every year, thousands of Mexicans get on a plane with a permit. They go to Canada. They work for 6 to 8 months. Canada, the government establishes how many it needs. They have, full rights in terms of the benefits they have as workers, and they provide an important service to the Canadian economy. Once they're done with their job, after 6 to 8 months, they get to go back to Mexico.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're not Canada.
So that's how immigration looks like in a country that
our politics. Hold on.
Completely hyper-polarized and stuck in the issue of immigration between
we're hyper-polarized
borders
because
and
whenever you try to ask honest questions, as I'm trying to do right now, you are met with either accusations that you're a racist or a white nationalist, whatever that is, you're a bad person, in other words, or you're met with these, again, platitudes. So we don't have a worker program like that. We're not flying anybody in. A lot of them are walking across, and they're not leaving, and no one on the left wants them to leave. So just give us a glimpse of what the plan is. What's an ideal worker? How many do we need? What should the population of the country be? Do you have any idea? Can you answer any of those questions?
Well, like I said, I'm not an immigration expert. I'm a reporter. I shouldn't have to fill this void in your show of people who dedicated their lives to studying the issue of immigration and can come up with these answers. I think we elect people to Congress so they can come up with these answers. What I'm
so you don't feel any obligation to think through the policies that you're espousing.
In 2034, we're expected to have two-thirds of the counties in the country with a deficit in terms of the workforce, and we need immigration and orderly process in terms of immigration.
Obviously, you don't know the answer. So let me just ask you one more kind of thematic question here. If your population isn't reproducing, if it's not replacing itself, if people aren't having enough kids...
Which is what's happening in the country, you agree, right?
It's what's happening. And one of the main reasons it's happening is because people can't afford to have children. The middle class is dying in this country. Why wouldn't you take a minute to figure out how to help them have kids? Because, newsflash, people want to have kids. And if they can, they will. If they can afford it, they will. But they can't afford it. So why are we spending all this time worrying about the populations of other countries and not at all about our own? Does that occur?
Well, I've said this 100 times on your show. We can spend a little more money in places like Central America, countries like Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, which are not Mexico. It's important to say that on your network. And, see the benefits of that in our border, or we can keep spending billions of dollars in our border.
Wait a second. Americans can't afford to have kids, so we need to send more money to Guatemala?
That's why it's important to worry about those populations. If you don't want them here, spend more money to keep them there.
Okay,
that's, I think, pretty common
sense, pay them
right?
off to go away. Okay. How's that different from like a classic mafia shakedown? Is it?
From what? I'm sorry?
you know, I wouldn't want this new window in your store to get broken, so why don't you pay me $40? That's kind of what you're saying.
No, I think it's in our best interest to generate
the conditions
for these people to stay in their countries.
Our best interest is to have a country where people
intelligent
can have
plan
their
looking
own
forward.
children.
I don't know how closing the border or cutting off aid to those countries is going to solve the issue of undocumented
Enrique,
immigration.
good to
It's
see you
just going to
tonight.
make it worse, and everybody knows that. So I think it's in our best interest in terms of national
all right, we're out of time, but I appreciate it. Thanks for flagging for El Salvador. Good to see you.
Well-developed region, North America, Central America.
Absolutely. All right, now we're done. Thanks.